In this Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection news update video, I will be sharing with you how the situation just keeps getting worse. The developers seemingly have lied to us and more, but before we do get into all of today's news, make sure you do subscribe to this channel so you won't miss any future news updates on the Classic Collection. So, the Classic Collection has been out for a few days now, and the situation is dire just following the launch weekend. Over the weekend, players have decided in masses to refund the game or simply not play it at all until patches come in, which I will have some details on later on in the video. But first, we just have to talk about the player count because it's absolutely incredible how much they fumbled this. I took this screenshot of the player count on PC just moments ago, and as you can see, since release it has continuously dropped in player count, to the point where players have decided to go back to DICE's Battlefront 2 and the original Battlefront 2 on Steam. For additional context, DICE's Battlefront 2 Steam player count is the smallest pool of PC players. Most players by far play on the Epic Games launcher or through the EA app. The Steam version is a very small percentage, and the fact that for a couple of days now it's continuously held more players on Steam alone is shocking considering the Classic Collection just released. Last night I streamed the game right here, and it was truly abysmal how few players were playing at a peak time in Europe. There were just 30 players online in Battlefront 2 and less than 10 on the first Battlefront. This morning, on both Xbox and PC, there were moments where there were not a single player online except for myself. Fear not though, I have some great news. The multiplayer, connection, hit registration, stuff like that is much better now, because no one is playing, it seems like. In the matches where virtually it's just me and AI on a dedicated server, it seems fine. But I'm struggling to find a server with more than 10 people on at a given time. PlayStation and Switch seems to have more players, but that's besides the point. Now there are far less players, the servers don't have the issues that we saw on launch day. So at least it's playable now, it's just that there is no one to play with. Continues to get worse with it now. The situation, the public perception of the game continues to get worse. It is currently the 9th worst reviewed game of all time on Steam. On to some slightly positive news, I suppose. Let's talk about patches. So they are working on new builds for the game. Whilst they have not publicly communicated this is visible through SteamDB, so we can see the behind the scenes of what they're doing on the game. They have submitted new builds that they're working through and testing. They should just come out and be more transparent, because it takes someone like me to actually go through and look at SteamDB to see what they are doing. Most people are being left in the dark. Now let's talk about bugs which need addressing in these patches. So many people have had so many different issues, it's insane. I have also encountered tons in the 5 hours I've streamed the game over the last few days. Supposedly, around 200,000 bug reports have been made. That's not 200,000 bugs necessarily, that's just how many have supposedly been tracked by Aspire through people reporting them, so there will be multiples. It is possible that this accounts for 200,000 reports across loads of their games, not just the Battlefront Classic Collection, but still. During last night's stream, it was short-lived due to the amount of bugs. I just could not take it anymore, and I experienced more bugs in the Classic Collection than I have in probably 3 to 4 or even 5 years streaming DICE's Battlefront 2. What I experienced was simply unacceptable. Why this was released in this state, I don't know. If you are having a great time playing the single-player stuff without any issues, that's totally fine. But there are still tens of thousands of us that are having major issues playing the game, specifically in multiplayer, which is the main reason so many of us purchased this release. Xbox players have been able to play the classic games through backwards compatibility for quite some time now, and they are very, very well done. It's great upscaling. The games just work as they did 20 years ago, but they don't have multiplayer. So the big selling point for Xbox players to get this Classic Collection was the multiplayer, to experience these 64-player battles on PC as well, to bring new life into things, and it's actually made the original Battlefront 2 gain more players versus the Classic Collection. Now let's get into something that's quite bad and will be a big news story over this week. The Battlefront Classic Collection uses mods when they said just a couple of days ago it would not include any fan-made mods. One mod was spotted in the trailer for the DLC characters Asajj Ventress and Kit Fisto. Aspyr sent a statement to IGN who were covering the story saying that it was mistakenly left in, it was just simply placeholder footage for the reveal trailer. It was done months ago, fall last year, and that the upcoming release of the Classic Collection does not include any code or content that has been taken from uncredited sources. The modder that they took the mod from has found his mod was actually used, at least in the Nintendo Switch version of the game. What's happening here is that Kit Fisto on the Nintendo Switch version is showing the signs of bugs that only are part of the mod. Whether it be the white glow on the lightsaber or how the Force Orb looks, this is a mod that they left in the game and only removed it with a last-minute patch. They've data mined the files and they can confirm the mod was used. However, the PS5 version appears still to be using the Ventress mod. Neither the Xbox or PC version appear to have these mods in use. Also, the modder I Am a Shaman has not been credited in the game. Whilst they do own these mods because he is simply using content that is from the original Battlefront games, the fact that it has been left uncredited or left in because they forgot to sort it out is not good enough. They literally said just a few days ago to IGN, which I reported on, there is no uncredited mods in use here. They have every right to use mods because they own the content. This is simply porting over content they own to different versions of the game, but still, that's besides the point. This whole Classic Collection seems to have just been such a rush to get it out of the door. They should have been able to have delayed this, give the developers more time to get it right. In case you don't know, Aspyr are owned by Embracer Group, and they are in notoriously big money troubles right now. Maybe that's one of the reasons why they really wanted to get this out, cash in, and they've let Aspyr take the fall for this. I haven't seen many people talk about how Embracer may be one of the main reasons behind this. I'm not saying Aspyr are completely free of the blame, but still, who's to say some of the developers over there wanted this delayed to give them more time to actually fix these issues. The modder was interviewed by IGN and he said that it's a terrible feeling getting pumped for a game like this and missing the mark entirely. It's a terrible gut punch. He also notes that there are tons of visual problems on various maps. They've decompiled the files and they've seen worse than what was expected. Apparently, the DLC maps for Battlefront 2 have completely the wrong textures in some places, which is crazy. The last few days have been honestly pretty disappointing, depressing, whatever you want to say, for such a huge Battlefront fan. I've covered Battlefront now for well over 10 years. I've been making pretty much mostly positive Battlefront videos for over a decade. I've made thousands, very few are negative. I'm usually a positive person, but this has just been worse than I thought it was going to be based on the AI upscale. And I thought that was going to be the main issue, but no. The deal gets worse all the time, and I just don't know what to say anymore. I have refrained from tweeting and making videos and streaming it more because I'm just so frustrated as a passionate Battlefront fan, seeing the community be so unhappy with something that should have been an easy win. Just re-release the original games unchanged. And they didn't do that, they made them worse. I'd love to hear your thoughts on anything I've talked about in this video, so please do let me know down in the comment section below, and also drop a like to help support the channel. Subscribe so you don't miss any future news updates on this game, including patches as soon as they do release. If you missed any of my previous videos, please do click on the playlist on screen right now, and I shall see you in my next video. Goodbye.